This is Angela with Park West Permaculture. Today I am out in the garden planting and harvesting, and I'm also cutting back a lot of plants. So I'm cutting back my comfrey plants. It's rained really hard and they're at the end of their blooming cycle and they're falling over. So I'm cutting them back to the ground, and when I do that I end up with a huge pile of prunings. This is a tiny bit off one plant. And the question is, what do I do with those prunings when I'm done? So comfrey is an herbaceous perennial that has lots and lots of uses, and I hope to make a video soon to talk more about it. It's sort of a ubiquitous permaculture plant. It is impossible to kill and creates tons and tons of biomass. The fleshy parts of the plant accumulate a lot of minerals from deep in the soil. So it makes a really great mulch and or fertilizer. So today I'm planting some tomatoes. My friend Brian gave us a wonderful selection of tomatoes after I'd already planted most of mine. So I'm squeezing them in spaces in the garden. So here are some of the tomatoes I'm planting. I think I have 18 more to squeeze in. Real quick tomato tip. If you were running out of room in the garden to plant tomatoes, I know a lot of people talk about grafted tomatoes in order to get more varieties, and they can be quite spendy in the store, as much as $20 for a tomato plant or even more from online. This is the lazy permaculture way of growing multiple varieties in a small space. Don't need to graft. Just plant 2 varieties in one hole and give them one tomato cage. So this is Golden Gem and Black Plum, neither of which I have grown before. I'll just stick them in the same hole and they will grow just fine. They don't get crowded. They don't suffer from problems. I just go ahead and pick off the extra leaves and take care of them as if they were one plant, and they do fine. Super cheap, lazy, easy way to grow multiple varieties in a small space. So now that I've planted the tomatoes nice and deep, and I've removed all of the leaves that are touching the ground to prevent fungus from coming up through the leaves of the plant and causing problems, I have this bare soil. And in some parts of the garden I cover with wood chip mulch. Actually really low on my wood chips right now. I'm waiting for another delivery from the tree trimmers. And because of that, I want to find something else to protect the soil so that there's not a lot of water loss as the sun bakes the open soil, so that nature hates a vacuum, right? So this bare soil will be perfect for pioneer species, i.e. weeds, to come up unless I cover and protect the soil. So I might as well do that with a plant that also is an excellent fertilizer for my tomatoes, helps impart lots of nutrients into the soil straight to my tomato plants. I don't have to use synthetic fertilizer. So what I do with my comfrey cuttings here is I just kind of crush them up and I place them all around the base of the tomato plant. And I will end up circling the whole tomato plant. I don't want them touching the stems, but all around, and I do it pretty deep. So several layers deep, because as the afternoon goes on, these are going to turn brown and shrivel up a ton. There's a lot of water in those, and they will form a thin layer of mulch, and as they decompose they will pass those nutrients onto the tomato plants. If I get a load of wood chips very soon, I will then add the wood chips on top of the comfrey, and in beds where I have wood chips already, I pull back the wood chips, put the comfrey underneath, push back the wood chips. That way the nutrients are not lost on top of the wood chips, they're getting into the soil as the comfrey decomposes. So that's my quick video on what I do with my comfrey prunings, or one of the many things, and also how to grow multiple varieties of tomato in a small space, permaculture style.